Hello everyone and welcome back to another Solution 2 video. You might be wondering why there's an additional video outside of the upload schedule, and here's why. And please listen to the intro this time in full, don't skip ahead. You can still decide not to do anything, but please listen to this. So this is a video that was from the charity tournament. We have had a charity tournament last weekend where 8 of the top players played against each other, and Roy and I did cast it. We also have 2 Old for Gaming, who is also casting the games later on. And the whole idea is that if you enjoy what you're watching, we hope that this makes you donate to the charity that the organizer David has selected. So this is Action Against Hunger. So again, if you enjoyed this video, please do consider donating. The link is in the description down below. We've also had, again, live streams on Saturday and Sunday where we've casted all the other games except for this one, which I couldn't fit in. So this is why I'm doing this extra video. So if you want to watch those games, consider going back to the live stream. The recording is as always available on my channel as well. You can still watch that. And again, if you like what you see, if you enjoyed and you have some money to spare, please do consider donating. The link is in the description there as well. So this is really the only one time that I will ask anyone for money on this channel. So please consider donating. Now, there is some information for those of you. Some people have said in the live chat they donated, but it didn't get through. David reached out to Just Giving, which is the platform that we're using for this, and they said there was a technical issue on their side, but it should be fixed now, so donations can get through again if you still want to donate. And with that out of the way, let's get into this. So this is a best of 1. We had quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals, and this one is the second semifinals game that we haven't covered on stream yet. And both players could only pick B tier or below divisions. So we see some divisions that we don't see every day, and today this is going to be CIL and Lovas, 2 divisions that we wouldn't very often see, but this is, one of the maps that I think is decent for them. I don't actually know who picked first. It's an interesting matchup nonetheless, and I think we're just going to go right into the decks. So let's start with CIL, and we're going to do this a little bit differently from now on once again. I'm always switching this up a little bit, but trying to find the right way, and we're going to go more into details on specific units, but making it faster overall. So the recon type is mostly some regular recon units. We have 2 Alpine Escalante, which is a nice sniper unit with radio. Of course, some stack hands that double that for early pushes or early defenses. Most important here are the 2 Exploratori cards, which are basically a Piat team with a little bit more health, which is important because while the Inventory tab is a Commonwealth equipped one, it doesn't really have that many Piats. It has the 1 on the Commandosi. Now, there's a lot of quadruple brand units with the Maro brand in A phase, then in B and C phase, the Fucilieri brand. They have 4 brands. Quite a nice unit. We have a lot of Seekers here, actually, in form of the Maro. The regular Maro and the Paradasalto, as well as the Arditi, which is a hybrid unit, double Bren and a TNT. It's quite expensive for that, but it's not bad at the end of the day. Some leader and some Parachat, this is just a double brand unit, which is kind of a worse rifle Piat. A lot of these do have the Raider Trader, which can be quite nice at times. Tank type, some Stewards, and then the Shermans. Most notable here is the Sherman 1 DOW. This thing has 110mm of armor, so you can actually do fairly well against the Turans. Now, even the regular Sherman is a very good unit to deal with the Turans, except for the price difference. That is the one downside to them, but, those can hold up quite well against those small little tanks. Support tab, not that much noticeable here. Pretty much the usual there. Nothing special. AT tab is interesting though, with a lot of the 47mm, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it, because the Tron is of course a relatively lightly armored tank. So those 47mm can really do a lot of damage there. Then of course 17-pounded Wolverine, since there will be Hatzer in Lovas Deck, so those need to be dealt with. Of course, AA tab is one of the big weaknesses. This is a big problem because Koenig will probably go quite air spammy. With Lovas, it is an air spam division at the end of the day, so we're going to see a lot of that probably. Artillery tab quite light with just an artillery leader, which is interesting because it can really only be used for infantry in this case, because it only brings the radio mortars. Other than that, air tab is actually surprisingly light. This division can go quite air spammy as well. But of course, Lovas has good AA, so it just takes the 1 card of Spitfire, which is probably going to be needed to help out this AA tab right here, and then the Ariete, which is not great, but it's going to get in and get out very often at least. And it has a decently sized bomb. On the other side, we do have Koenig with Lovas. And that's some interesting things here as well. So the recon tab is nothing special with the tool. It is just kind of like a Tyrann one, but with recon and lower armor and a recon, chunky recon in it. He does bring the spotter in the artillery tab, though, which gives him a radio, which he doesn't otherwise get with his infantry leader or his tank leader. So I guess that's the reason why he brings it. And of course, it acts as recon in A phase. Still an interesting choice, since, you know, he could easily fit recon in the recon tab, which would be better because it didn't actually vet it. Infantry tab has a lot of chunk units with the Huzarek and the Huzar Sorosok or something like that. Just can't really pronounce that unit. It is super chunky. It has 3 machine guns. It's, I think, the 31M or something like that. That machine gun that the Hungarians generally use. This thing is an absolute beast. These are quite chunky. Well, they do all have straight bull rifles, which do more damage and suppression than a regular rifle. And it's a noticeable difference. It's all quite nice. They do not have a lot of secrecy, however. Yes, the flame in Avis, which is quite weak compared to what CIL has to bring. But the Arasok is actually quite nice because it's just a relatively cheap TNT thrower. But the TNT thrower actually just so happens to counter the things that Liszek has in his deck, since he doesn't have any flamers. And then in B phase, it doesn't actually bring that much line in. It's just the one card of Huzar MG42 and then Morozarek in C phase. This is a very interesting decision. It means that only 6-7 infantry total for Koenig, and not that much of them are line infantry. Now, he has other tools to bring, but still, it's quite a lot of infantry, quite a small amount of infantry for an infantry-heavy division. And, you know, a lot of the infantry is 25 points and not 30, so it's not like Koenig is not going to find more points to spend on infantry. So, very, very odd choice there. Very odd choice. Tank tab, a lot of Tyrann ones and a few Tyrann ones and a lot of Tyrann 2s, which are of course the only tank in this tank tab that can actually realistically pen a Sherman. So it makes sense to focus on those. None in B phase is another interesting choice, but I guess the Hetzer is going to fill that role. Support tab, nothing special except that he brings the 50 mil. It's at the Axis one, so 540 meters range only, so not that good. A T-tab, it brings the AT rifles for an explosive openers and probably stop those stack hands, then just 35 mil and then the Pack 40s in B phase, as well as some bazookas in B phase. I guess he's really afraid of those Shermans, of course, but that rightfully so, really. And then, of course, the Hetzer in B phase, which will be quite tricky to deal with for CL, so this is very dominating tool here that Koenig has. AA tab, quite nice with the 40M, which is a little bit better than a regular Bofus, and the Nimrod, of course, which is quite nice as well. To the tab, we've already talked about the spotter. He brings the off-map plane. Koenig loves his off-map planes. He brings them usually quite early in the game. Artillery and then the mighty 140 with ammo. So there's no ammo to support up. He has to bring it with this. No actual artillery in A phase, so that's quite an interesting choice. Not something we see very often. Air tab, surprisingly light, but it's actually still quite a lot of option. He has fighters as well, instead of just the fighter bombers. He doesn't bring the recon bomber though, or the Ju-88. So just some Focke-Wulf with a light bomb loadout. So it's all small bombs, which is good or bad depending on the situation, and then some cluster planes. Back to the deployments as always. So down south we do CCL going very defensively. Now it's important to note that, of course, this, both divisions here are relatively slow. They do have some fast units in some of the transports. Koenig, I think, is a little bit of an advantage there with the AT rifles, but in terms of actual equipment that can really, really fight, I think the advantage is with Liszek, since he does have, your Beecher, the machine guns, and the 47 mil, I think it is, 47 mil. So that's important to note. But yeah, down south, defensive deployment, Koenig is going a little bit more heavily in there, but not very aggressive. He can't, of course, go too deep because he has to expect a stack hand to pop up and transport snipe things. So he goes in very defensively, also brings an AT gun in a defensive position over here. We do see some AT rifles, we do see mostly Huzarek, and I think some ZKC, but not a whole lot. I guess Koenig tries to really push this hard. At the start, he can realistically do that. Later on, CIL will have the better units to fight in these kind of areas, I would argue. Over here, same kind of concept, going defensive here, going a little bit heavy over here, having some Tyrann support ready to go there as well. But mostly some Huzarek, some of the chunky guys, and some flamers and whatnot. Liszek is going very defensively in the light over there as well. I think this is the only thing that he sends here. It's just on a beach on the hill. Breda a little bit up close, I think, yep, and then a flamer to keep the flag. His main deployment is going into the town though, where in this matchup I think he has a realistic chance of actually holding it. And so he goes defensively over here. He has a stack out to transport sniper early on. And just, yeah, in here with some machine guns and things like that. This is probably a mistake. I don't think that's realistically going to get there. Koenig is responding to this by trying to rush into the front houses, which he should get into. It's really hard to deny that. We do have AT rifles going into not that aggressive positions, actually. More defensive in nature. So I guess he's afraid of the Staghound rushing. And then we do have some Tarantoldi. Some AT weapons, mostly not actually that strong of a force. It's mainly defensive in nature. It's flamers and AT rifles mostly, some machine guns. But hardly any infantry, 2 units only. It's really not all that much. But I mean, he's very strongly deploying over here, which is where, you know, the one place where red is naturally strong and oftentimes tries to push and get these 2 flags. This is where Koenig now decides to counter push early on, and not on the hill where blue side usually pushes very often. But due to the, you know, I think the one advantage that blue side really has, if you haven't seen my, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there is the if you haven't seen my video on how to play this map, you know, the thing is that blue side has the possibility to go here as well, because they can't get pushed off here so easily, whereas red side doesn't really have that advantage. Now, up north, it's very defensive and very risky. Just 1 flamer and 1 AT rifle. I love to see this kind of deployments, though. This is the play of you accept losing 1 flag over here, but you have the chance in return of getting more flags over here or over here. This is definitely a very nice play that we actually see fairly often. Over here, so Maro, RDT, Commandos, actually quite a large deployment and a Staghound by Liszek, and the problem with this is going to be it's going to run into basically nothing. So this is going to be a lot of wasted points here. So that is, you know, what can make this deployment so strong. So let's get this started. And for anyone who's just joining in now, skipping ahead, you do still have to listen to one quick sequence, so please ask you to go to the start and actually listen to the intro because it's quite important. So this is a video of a tournament that was played for charity, and the whole idea is that if you enjoy what you see, you don't have to, but of course we would invite you to donate if you enjoy what you see here. So the link for that is down in the description below. It's for Action Against Hunger. Even just $5 helps, but of course, you know, again, we're hoping that some people do. It's of course not mandatory. Obviously, it's not locked behind anything, and I don't want to guilt trip you into doing it either. Just asking nicely for it, and of course, if you cannot afford it, absolutely do not donate either. But yeah. So just wanted to point that out real quick here. You can't escape this. Also, for those who have watched the stream, so you can watch the other games in the stream. Some transports getting sniped here on Koenig side. These guys going down. It's quite a big loss. It's quite chunky and can hold back a lot of this push. All of a sudden, I think Liszek is in a position here to actually take the town. Things gone quite bad there for Koenig, but down south he has a lot of pushing power. The Schwalos is getting pushed back here, but 2 Turans should be able to overwhelm that 1 OB chain. I don't think it's going to do much there. And over here, Koenig is now reinforcing. No, he's not reinforcing. He's actually just defending as he sees, or has probably noticed a large deployment. And of course, if there's nothing here on Koenig's side, the front line will flip massively. That might invite Liszek to actually push further, but if, you know, there's something here that tells Liszek, okay, maybe it's not worth it, actually. To finish the thing that I was saying, by the way, so some of you have watched the stream and said that they donated, but it didn't go through. So David, the organizer of this whole thing, reached out to Just Giving. It was a technical issue on their side. It should be fixed now. So if you still want to donate, you can do that. But again, only if you really want to, of course. Bombing Run goes after the 75mm, but fails to kill it off. Focke-Wulf goes after the Obiche over here before the Turans engage, so nice timing there by Koenig. Definitely thinking ahead there. 1 Flamer holding this flag is not really all that much. Bersaglieri here are taking down that, trying to take down that AT rifle, which is now on the run. I might actually just take enough damage due to the moving to still die. Surprised that he wasn't just falling it back, which he's doing now, so it's going to survive. Third down for Liszek as he takes the north now. Just an IT rifle and a flamer down, nothing more coming in. Liszek might still decide actually to push. Now he's shifting the stack hand, he's still keeping the half-track here. You can definitely pick up some of these units with the half-track and move them into the town where he can actually realistically push. There's not that much here holding things actually, but Liszek is also not super strong here. Neither of these players also has you know, an income advantage either since it's Maverick versus Maverick. Koenig now pushing in the south. It's basically just 147 millers holding the entire front line over here. Maro, Bren are now coming in, but it might just be too late. They're not very fast. 47 mil going to the defensive position over here. I actually love to see that. He's not, you know, he's thinking ahead. He's not going super deep. Just staying on the defensive there. A row of stewards and some exploratori coming. This is the Piet unit, of course, but that one is going to go way too deep. Runs are just waltzing through. More exploratori coming. Maro, Bren might actually be able to might actually be cut off here by the Turan 1. And potentially killed in the transport. Things not going very well here for Liszek. But, you know, he's working on the hill. And I think, ultimately, this is a good trade for Liszek. He might be down a little bit here for the time being. Koenig's on 13-11 now. But he has this side, which Koenig is, because of the distance, you're not really going to get through again. If he takes the hill, he's on a very nice position to kind of prevent Koenig from getting back onto it as well. So it can just make it very tricky for Koenig to do stuff. And this, you know, there's a lot of covered area here where Liszek can push through throughout the whole time. So I think there's a good chance for Liszek to take this back later on. So losing this, I think, is not as big of a deal as losing this right here is for Koenig. You do see the half-track shifting now, but he didn't actually load up any units, so there's a lot of infantry still stuck there and a lot of points sitting up north without anything to do. So major mistake there by Liszek. I think they could really be useful. We had no AA coming in so far though, and another Ariete is in. Maybe it's the same. I don't know how fast they actually reload. It looks like the Turan 1 here did die to the Steward blob, and they can realistically kill off the Turan 2 as well. How much damage does this actually do? So the heat shell is 8, this I know, but the AP also 8. Okay, so they will one-shot one of the stewards easily. Exploratori here fighting, not what you wanted to do. It is meant to be pinned. Yeah, so both Ariete are out. Another Huzarok being targeted. Bersaglieri being pushed back by Huzarok. Will get surrendered soon, I assume. No, not yet. It's recovering. Not for long though. This Huzarok now falling back. Koenig to push stop for the moment, and it's back to 12-4. Focke-Wulf coming in to go after tomorrow, Bren. And, you know, those are expensive units. 30 points, which is not a small amount. He's dodging with one of them, so at least he can prevent them from taking too much damage. But this one gets full burst of... Ooh, that's going to hurt. Units are now shifting. AT rifles are trying to move up. Exploratori just out of range to kill the Turan 2. This flag just barely grabbed, but the push is coming. Huzarok doing their best to hold things off here. Now, if the Commandosi get close enough that they can fight up close, the Thompsons and the Brents will win against the straight bull rifles. This will not fire up close, of course. It's falling back now. 75 mil gets killed off, but there's still a Turan 2 and the Shvalose trying to hold things, and the Turan 1 is about to arrive. Half-tracks have shifted but not engaged so far. Koenig now reinforcing his push with AA. That's definitely a nice idea at this point. That should basically, because of how close it is, that should basically mean that any airplane that's flying into here will easily get forced off. Not much can be done there. This thing should only do 5 damage from what I know. Yep, so this thing the student will have a chance of killing this, actually. Of course, in terms of penetration and armor, it's actually a very similar matchup, but slightly favored for Turan 1, as it has both 5mm more armor and 5mm more pen than the Steward. First engagement over here. Turan 1's half as low turret rotating speed, versus Stewards, to my knowledge, do have stabilizers, but I might be wrong. But either way, this low turret rotation speed can be an issue. Oh yeah, of course, I forgot. When talking about this whole thing, we've got this important thing here, just the rate of fire. Turan fires much faster, so it's still favored for the Turan very heavily. So look at that, the Turan 2 here did die. 3rd for Liszek now, as things have turned around with him stabilizing over here somewhat, and taking this flag as well. The half-tracks have pushed forward and are on the run again. It looks like the Stackhound did die to the Turans. Is this a Stackhound here? No, that's a Turan. Don't know where the Stackhound was, but it certainly isn't here anymore. Oh, over here, never mind. And there's a hit and run. Move in, get a shot off. Did they get a pen? No. Just bouncing and stressing it out by the looks of it. Ooh, Stuart? No. Not sure what it was bouncing on. Oh, it was bouncing these guys. Now, these can't really do much against the Stuart because they do not have the required AT tool. And this thing's, of course, not opened up, so you can't just throw grenades into it. Sherman is now arriving. This is a tool that should very nicely block off these two runs. Turan 2 can potentially pen it, but it's going to struggle for sure. Right, they're getting forced off by the 40 mil. It was shooting before, so I assume that another Ariete was already forced off previously. Not sure why Liszek decided to go after it again. Especially since over here, he could definitely use that. Zarek trying to get close to the Staghound. Staghound now on the run. But had to DC trying to stop those guys. Commandosi have now shifted, getting into position here where the Piat can be used against the Turans if they decide to push in. And the Turans are pushing. Just being forced off, so the Commandosi are in a potentially dominating position over there. What did the Turans see? Oh, the half-track. So that one is going to go down, and down it goes. Leader is there. Can't really do much though. Oh, he has a sniper, so not much there to be done. Staghound pushing. Not sure if Liszek can repeat this, because this thing fires so fast. There we go. Oh yeah, and of course it only needs one hit as a Turan too. Commandosi killed one Turan, it kills another one, and it's going for the next one. If it stays at the right angle, especially if it's Turan being busy fighting the 47 mil. Well, 47 mil got the kill already, so I guess the Commandosi is not going to matter there all that much. 50 mil mortar is trying to go after it. Fokker Wolf has gone for another bombing run. I kind of didn't see what it went after, but Crusader's now coming in for the town. This one's going to go after the Sherman. That's going to be an expensive loss. It's not going to be a loss by the looks of it. Lucky there for Koenig. For Liszek, quite unlucky for Koenig. Another 2-run one coming, but that's going to struggle. 75 mil though will be just the right answer for the Sherman. But definitely some AA will be needed over here as well. Another Sherman now coming in for the town. Looks like Liszek wants to secure this off for good. Which definitely makes sense. Yes, a successful push. He wants to secure it and make sure that Koenig's not going to have an easy time getting back in. Meanwhile, over here, he's struggling to stop Koenig's push. He's done so for a bit, but Koenig has now gotten this flag. He's pushing Liszek back, and Koenig is still on the advance. Spatori going down to the Huzarok, which is quite bad, of course, because that is pretty much the only thing that could really easily kill off the Toldi. So Stuart can still do it. And the 47 mil as well, but the 47 mil is likely going to die to the Huzarok. There's definitely potential for Koenig to push up north here now. Here's the town. He's shifting units up north. He's now trying to play this game, well, for him, kind of vertically. Because, of course, he... horizontally, sorry. For him, for us it's vertically. Where you basically don't fight from this side of the hill to try to get back, but you push from the one part of the hill which you still have. Pretty classical strategy for Orsha North, for Orsha East, of course. Marobran here, fighting a Huzarok. It appears to be winning. Well, it has two brands versus one of these MG Solitron 31M, so would expect it to win. But I would expect this thing to do a little bit more than what it's doing. Oh, it's mostly doing damage, not suppression. Never noticed that. Oh, it's not two brands, sorry, it's full brands, so it should do quite some work. We can clearly see that the suppression difference is massive between these two. What I really want to see is the suppression difference between this and this. But when both are full health, of course. Not sure if we're going to see that. For the 7 mil has full spec to Huzarok. Spitfire is now in. Oh, Koenig did bring in the off-map lane. The off-map is still going to go down. But Koenig... Well, Koenig has some tools to surrender. Actually. There's Huzarok coming in, and he has 2 Turans. Is that going to be enough? Well, that remains to be seen. There's definitely a Sherman in here now. There's a Beecher, so those armored units could very easily get stopped. But these two guns here are going to get either killed or pinned. It's going to make it quite tricky. Commandosi in a very nice position here, winning against the Huzarok up close. Moving forward now, should easily kill off the Toldi. Should also kill off that Huzarok, but this flame over here could put an end to that little adventure right there. So a blob of Marrow here to stop things, but the problem is they can't really push out of cover. Sherman now in a nice backwards position. Still no AA, so I would expect the... There we go, J7's coming in right away. And the Braid is also being focused. Oh, Spitfire is here though. 40M has not really been able to target it in time, but the Spitfire is not going to get on the back of it. It's going to go overshoot, and it's going to get forced off, and it's being called off to not risk losing it. Definitely the right call there. Sherman is on the run, but maybe with this trajectory, it might just scrap past it. Let's see. Nimrod now coming in as well over here. This area not protected, but at least this one is. Charity 7 drops the clusters and misses entirely. Sherman has dodged it. It has been hit previously. Let's see how damaged it actually is. Not that much. Interesting. Or maybe the other one did go down and this is just another one, new one. Oh, no, I don't see a Sherman here. Maybe it's still the same one. It's amazing how little damage I took from the first cluster run then. It's very lucky. Off my pit didn't achieve all that much. And Koenig didn't get back onto the hill, which is devastating. He killed 2 guns over here. That's definitely nice. But is that worth it? I have some doubts about that. And I do not see the plane wreckage, but I'm pretty sure the Spitfire will have shot that down. I have some difficulties to believe that this was not the case. But no, it probably wouldn't. I think it would have been like somewhere over here. Oh no, there it is. Still alive. So the next off map's going to come in. Crusaders trying to force it off. Is it going to kill it though? That's the question. This is quite low resilience. Like, this is not that good. The off-map's dropping down over here, so Koenig probably trying to get this flag back. Sherman is actually pushing into it. No, off-map plane has been forced off, but not killed, and the off-map will drop once again. Uzrak now pushing in here, but the problem is in those forest patches, except for the Arkazok, which is now coming, Koenig will be outgunned. Commandosi won all its fights by the looks of it. 75mm is going after it, but the Commandosi will kill that off now. You have to remember the brand is deadly. And there we go. Down it goes. So Koenig now on the back foot once again. We've seen quite some back and forth, but Koenig trying to get back in here. If he gets this flag back, that's going to be the 12-12. And he still, you know, has a lot of potential to push for this one eventually. Liszek is quite weak there, so if Koenig actually can develop this into a nice push, which he is trying by the looks of it, he can get that. Get the tick going, and that could easily help him. You know, this could then threaten this road, which means Liszek will have to focus on that. He cannot reinforce as much, allowing Koenig to get back on the hill. Is also slowly building up forces up north. So this, I think, is a support gun, which means that, you know, it makes it harder for Liszek to push here eventually, but also it could give Koenig the tools to help him push back in eventually as well. Which is quite important. Another AA piece now coming in to secure this off. We do see 2 more Crusader AAs coming. So Liszek just focusing heavily on the town. It looks like he's willing to accept losses over here in favor of just locking this down entirely. And I mean, if Koenig sends in 1 or 2 planes over here, they might die. And you all know how important it is when you play against Koenig to really lock down his air force as early as possible. As long as this is reloading the pressure to this, he could potentially kill it off. It only has 1 SMG. This thing has 2 Berettas, which is quite nice. And the Bren is not nothing either. And they do damage. And suppression, but it is reloading its grenade. I think it's going to win it, actually. Yeah, Liszek's going to win that fight. So Koenig's losing more of his precious CQC. Now, he still has plenty, but it's still an important thing to keep in mind. Uzrak tried to push forward, got bombed by the Ariete. Still trying to move forward. Oh, so he wants units here to reveal themselves so that they open fire, and then at the 75mm can start shooting. Cherry-88 can also do that job of reconnaissance. Liszek is actually shifting units away actively. The Commandos and Marobren are pushing over here, so he's trying to get into this flank by the looks of it. But we do have a Hetzer now in us. That's one of the units that's going to be quite tricky for Liszek to deal with. And up here on the hill, it can actually do a lot of damage, or over here, and try to force its way back in here. Arieta's coming back in. This time going for, probably this is where the field gun used to be. There's a Focke-Wulf there, so let's be very careful when he turns. Charity 7 is going for, oh, it just wants to suppress things. Most likely this right here. Ariete is actually turning. Spitfire is coming in for Charity 7, but once again too early before he can actually get on the back of it. But the A's over here might not be able to do anything. The Focke-Wulf's coming out again, but It's just to do recon probably. Ariete will not be able to do much, even if it gets on the back of things. Spitfire, I'm not sure what it is doing. It's actively being microed away, probably away from the Focke-Wulf, which could potentially go after it and kill it off. So it's a bit of a clusterfuck here with planes. Massive reinforcements coming in over here, not going anywhere though, so At the moment, Liszek just being ready to do whatever he needs to do when they arrive. Blob of Stewards also has arrived. Big shift up north though. Liszek not really securing his off. Now coming back to haunt him as some infantry pushing forward now. Killing the Obice. Spitfire has a go at the Focke-Wulf 189. But goes down to the 40 mil. Or maybe to the, you know, backside gunner of this. Not 100% sure on which of those it was. Leader's desperately trying to hold this off. Commandos now shift again as do the Maro Bren. Nice move there by Koenig. He noticed he got stuck there. There's nothing to gain for him over here. He got the 2 flags. The 3 flags, actually. There's nothing to gain for him. But over here, there's things to gain. He noticed the massive deployment here by Liszek. So where can he potentially do something? Over here. Now, he would have had a harder time had Liszek not moved all his Commandosi and Maro Bren away. And Liszek just got, unfortunately for him, the wrong timing. Because these things, you know, early on moving them could have had a massive advantage because it would have meant he would have needed to invest less into the town. Could have invested more in there. And now, now that he moves them away, Koenig actually decides to go for his push. Some of the infantry units here push back, and so far not much following. So Liszek can still stabilize, and he definitely tries to, but the Turan is going to threaten this reinforcement road. Not a Spitfire in trying to kill this off. 2 R8, they're coming in. They're trying to go after Huzarok, but the Turan is the real deal here. This thing can easily kill off all these units that are just coming in. No Sherman is coming at the moment, which is absolutely devastating. This is what Liszek really needs here. 1 tank. And 1 tank can do massive damage there. Now it is coming in. Arete actually got stopped by a Nimrod that just arrived at the 40M. Is one of them going to go down? Not so sure. The other thing, the off-map plane finally did die. Bezaglieri got just spotted out. It's probably going to get killed off as well. Do you have 20 mils also coming in? And over here is, of course, the massive blob of Crusaders. Ju-88 Recon coming. That's easily going to get forced off by all the Crusaders. Ideally, they would be next to a leader, which are not. I might actually kill the Ju-88. It's 3 double 20 mils, and Ju-88 is flying quite close. So some 50 cuts of health, but it's not going to do make a massive difference. There we go, Ju-88 going down. That's huge. Even if it's just a recon plane, it's one more plane that can, you know, first of all, he can spot, but also can help overwhelm the AA. So the more of those die, the better for Liszek at the end of the day. He stopped his advance over here. Sherman is now coming. Another Sherman is coming and a 17-pounder. So he wants that on the hill probably to prevent the Hetzer from doing a lot of damage over there. Arditi have shifted over here. This is what they were called in for. And are holding the town quite expertly at the moment. Over here, Huzargolis Gorashek trying to push forward. Is in range of the Beret, and they are absolutely shredding it at the moment. Huzargolis is fighting back quite well. Actually, it's going to win the suppression fight. First looked like it wouldn't, but it does. If the Myodomaro was going to help, it would be a different story, but at the moment, not looking very good. And Koenig's in the lead all of a sudden with 13-11 once again. Well, not in the lead, but he's having more flags. 2 Focke-Wulfs are now coming in, but the Crusaders can probably stop them. It might actually kill one of them, especially if Liszek focuses one of them, it will die. Yep. He let the other one get through, focusing the one that has already got a lot of damage, and down it goes. Now transitioning to the one, but this one is going to make it out. But as another plane down, and Koenig doesn't have a lot of these. And the Stuka, as good as they are as a cluster plane for tanks, they are not going to get in and they're not going to survive this. So this is very important for Liszek to slowly kill off Koenig's planes. And, you know, the air spam is an important part of Lovas. It has great infantry, it has some good light tanks, and has some nice artillery pieces, well, one essentially, to help it out, and of course the Hetzer. But I would argue that having the Air Force is an essential part of this division. Sherman's now shifting over here, a little bit close to the Panzerschreck that is about to arrive. Or is it? No, it's a Panzerschreck, actually, this kind. Some of the Hungarians do have bazookas. Sherman's now falling back. Sherman 1DO is being pushed over here, can easily block off all of this. There's a 75 mil coming, there's a pack 40. Trader 7 going up north, going after that Sherman. There's 2 20 mils, let's see if they can stop it. Single vet at least. I think they might be able to stop it, or at least spread the bombs enough. Oh, the Crusader is going to help. It might actually be enough then to kill the Trader 7. Nah, I think it's going to get out. Koenig has grabbed the forest though. But the Shermans are there to help. 20 weirdly enough can actually be quite devastating over here as well. More paratroopers coming in. At least it's the cheap units that are being thrown into the meat grinder over there. Focke-Wulf trying to go after the infantry. It might get in. Oh, but it's going to fly this way, so it means it's going to fly over all the Crusader, which I think it's going to pay for with its life. Oh yeah, look at look at that thing getting blasted. Ooh. Oh, another burst is coming. Is it gonna kill it? No. Focke-Wulf's going to make it out alive. Barely, though. Barely. This thing's probably got a lot of damage. The Shermans have shifted over here. Kill off the Toldi. And are just generally being quite annoying and dominating. Pack is moving into a position where I can stop them if they move down the hill, but they're not doing that at the moment. More Fucilieri, Brenko. Wow, a lot of those actually. 5 of them, so that's what? 150 points. Basically 1 tick of income. Maverick, that we're out of, so almost 2 ticks of income that Liszek has been sitting on. We've not really paid attention, but we have reached sea phase. Coming to reinforce the center here. There is a counter push happening by Koenig, and is actually going quite well. He's overwhelming Liszek here very clearly. Oh, and more importantly, look at that. Oh no, the Crusaders still alive. 1 of them took damage, but they have fallen back. But looks like there's no Shermans left here. The Hetzers must have cleared them out. There's definitely going to be an answer needed for those Hetzers. Liszek needs to have some sort of response to those. Otherwise it's going to, well, just get overwhelmed here. There's not much you can do about them. Ooh, could you see some smoke blaze happening by Liszek, I assume? Yeah, this thing has used 5 smoke rounds. They're just smoking off the heads for now. Again, smoke blaze is not something we see very often, so I'm always very excited if we actually get to see them. Maro Brand should easily win against a Scissorrack. This is the bigger problem, but Esploratori is coming in. This thing is, again, the Piat unit. Koenig is falling back with the Hetzer. I think he smells it. Coming in. Esploratori. Ooh. I think it's out of range now. Yeah. It might have just worked with a bazooka or a Panzerschreck, but the Piat has a shorter range, and it is sometimes quite noticeable. Another Hetzer sitting up there, just waiting patiently at the moment, and another AT gun coming. No, this is... No, he only has mortar. He doesn't have any artillery pieces, so this is the AT. Ah, this is... Yeah. This is the 6-pounder. Now I got it. I was confused for a second, but Liszek actually pushing into the northern forest again. He had the flag for a brief moment, and he's going to get it back in just a bit. More Commandosi is still alive, so the Turans here are going to have a rough time. Sherman 1 DOW in here. Nothing the Turan can do against that. Nimrod is also in danger now. The Nimrod, this thing is quite dangerous. This kills tank, or it used to. Now it is only 8 HP, so Sherman will probably one-shot it. Previously, I think this used to be deadly. The heat shell is not actually the main selling point, but just these guys. If they wouldn't kill a tank outright, they would just stress it out and then finish it off later on. This thing would, especially the one with the heat shell, you know, if you stress it out with the AP first, like those can actually kill some of the heavier Soviet tanks too, or just heavy tanks in general. These guys do not have the AT, but the Palasaldo would have, going after Turan now. And Nimrod is not falling back, and the Commandosi can kill it off. As soon as it's done dealing with the Huzarak, that Nimrod could be history. If the Commandosi pushes forward, which it doesn't. Sherman shifting over there to go after the Turan. Focke-Wulf coming in. There's probably going to be a J87 following soon, I would assume. If Koenig micros through there, it actually has a chance of surviving. Or the Commandosi dies and the Nimrod is on the run. A missed opportunity there, of course. You know, he probably didn't know it was there, but still, we saw it. Actually, that Pike 40 could probably get 1 pen off here, but that's about all it's going to do. Nimrod in a flanking position, though. That's going to be able to get a burst off as well. Combined with the, with this 75 mil, I was going to say, we might see a Nimrod killing a tank here. It's going down now to this Sherman, though. After the 75 mil was already killed. There we go, Nimrod goes down. Huzarak pushing in. The Para-Esplorante can fight back up close, though, with the sniper and 2 Berettas. Not sure they are chunky enough. Well, no, actually, I think they are. Might be able to win this. Not against the TNT unit, though. Still holding this flag, but Koenig gotten this one back with just 1 Huzarak. Liszek still has the forces here to push back against that. Or that J87 is going to go down. It might kill the Sherman. It does. But the 20 mils and the 2 Spitfires are probably going to mean that this is going to be the end of the Charity 7, and it is. This guy's still alive, can potentially do some damage. Over here we had 2 Ariete, 1 got in after the Huzarek. Nimrod is trying to chase after them. Just an Arditi, oh, Komenos just went down, just 1 Arditi holding all of this. So this flank's going to flip very soon. That's going to mean that Koenig will get the 13-11 once again. And this could be the 14-10 if he gets this flag back. 75 mil has a go at the Hetzer. He can pen it at this range. Not going to be a very easy task, but it's definitely possible. There's a Sherman back here as well, but there's 2 Hetzers, so it's bad news for the 75 mil. Another Sherman over here. Another AT gun. Oh god, an armor cracked on a Hetzer. Very lucky crit there. That's absolutely huge. Koenig doesn't have an awful lot of those, so every single one of them that dies is a massive win for Liszek. This one is going to take out the Sherman though very soon, I would assume. If this dies, if this dies and this Sherman 1 DOW survives, this is basically all of the pushing power that Koenig can bring up here gone. Because Tyrants can easily be dealt with by the Sherman, and the infantry, as good as it is, if there's a Sherman to support, will struggle as well. And Liszek still has... Well, no, actually, Liszek is running low in infantry. He has some Fucilero Brand there, though, still. Wolverine's now coming in to deal with those guys. Over here, not much happening, but Koenig has not been reinforcing it, so Liszek would potentially have an opportunity to go back, come back from there. But Koenig is sensing his comeback in the center, and it's going quite well so far. There's no... This is very risky. There's no... Actually, this is a Pier unit, isn't it? It is. Oh, Wolverine gets the kill on the Hetzer. Things all of a sudden not looking that well anymore, but Koenig actually is about to retake this flag as well. We're still going to bring it to 13-11 if he manages to do that. Oh, Liszek re-grab this is why it's still at 12-12 despite Koenig re-grabbing this one. 13-11 for Liszek again? No, as he loses this one. So we're sticking to the 12-12. The flap flaking is insane in this game. It's just going back and forth, and no territory, you know, it's going back and forth in territory grabs as well quite a lot, which I love to see. It's very, very fluid, this game. Sparatori, well, they only have 2 rifles, not really sure what they're trying to do here. But it can be dangerous to the Trans at least. Both Alpini Esperanto now on the hill here. Aditi actually being redirected as Liszek considered this secured for the time being. He probably should, yeah, follow up with his 20 mils a bit. Because they're quite far away from the front line. Alpini Esperanto is going to get focused on these 2. We're all going to die. Yeah, these at least. This one, no. Went after Aditi. The Alpini Esperanto can still continue bullying things over there. Spitfire is going after it, giving it the chase, turning away as Liszek noticed that he can't get there. Koenig on a 13-11 though, with him grabbing what? Oh, was this enough? Must have. Oh, yeah, no, this was flipped and then he got this one back. But now Koenig also got this one, so it's a 13-11. There's a Sherman here, relatively uncontested, but the Pact 40 is on its way. PaladinLepa is pushing forward, trying to go after Huzarek. If nothing from over here can assist, the PaladinLepa is easily going to win that. So, putting up quite a fight though, but Sherman are going to put a quick end to that. Not a Hetzer coming in. So we've seen 1 die over here, we've seen 2 die over there. So that's 3 Hetzers down for sure that we know of. And I think it's 6 in B faces double there. I think, but there might have been more dying that we missed. So it could be that this is the last one, and if not, there is maximum of 2 left. The 2 left maximum, maybe 3. Sorry, 2 left maximum, maybe none. That's what I was going to say. A lot of Morrow coming, so Liszek just doing the wave tactics. They're sitting on points and now just trying to overwhelm Koenig. He probably just didn't buy anything for 2 or 3 takes. It's a lot of points. I think it's waited at least 3 ticks with buying some. Well, they have arrived in waves, so that's probably each a tick. But still. Sherman is now re-engaging. It looks like Liszek decided it's safe now, and he really needs to push somewhere, which is definitely true. He's about to lose his ticket lead to Koenig. He needs to find a new place to push, and more Aditi now coming in. Huzarek, oh, is he going to get NAT Panzerfaust off? He does. Aditi's going to go down. Another one is unloading. But the Aditi is now in the perfect position to throw a TNT. The Flamer will easily get overwhelmed by all the Aditi. Otherwise, it has a decent chance. Ooh, cluster dropping over here. Missing though, thanks to the plane being stressed out by the AA. 2 Crusaders are quite far back, so this Chainsaw might actually make it out alive. It is smoking, but it's not smoking that heavily, so I think it's going to make it out this time. These guys definitely need to go back onto the hill as well, and these need to push up. I think Liszek is not using his AA optimally, but he has dealt with a lot of Koenig's air force already, so the risk is definitely lower than it used to be. Koenig has lost quite a few planes, and that would have been absolutely crucial for him to continue fighting as well as he did. It's 11 for Liszek now, as he retakes this flag and both in the town. Still holding north and down south. We actually do see some plays happening as well, so it could be soon 14-10 for Liszek. 2 more Arietta coming in. There's still a Bofus over here and another one over there. I don't see the... Oh, this Nimrod died, but there was another one over here somewhere. Did that die too? Did he lose 2 Nimrods? Yeah, he lost both Nimrods. Ooh, that is really bad. Focke-Wulf taking revenge, going after the Marrow, but there's so many units over here. Koenig can't kill off us. Oh, and this is quite problematic. Liszek is focusing one of them, but I think the Crusader is still quite too far back, so maybe they're gonna get out. But this turn here could have been the end of one of them, if the Crusader had been a little bit further forward. Ooh, Spitfire coming in, one circling around, one being called back. Wolverine versus Turan here. Actually not a good fight, because the Turan can realistically pen the Wolverine. And there we go, 1 pen. It also fires about twice as fast. Wolverine is still turning and gets killed off. Jagdpanzer now pushing in. The Hetzer, of course, a very dangerous thing. But Assalto can threaten that quite nicely. The Hetzer just doesn't really have a safe way of advancing it. This house is really annoying to move into. Okay, needs to be very careful there. You need some infantry going forward. Oh, is the Parasalto going to spot it eventually? No, but the Aditi is going to throw the TNT. It's kind of waste, but you know, it's not that bad at the end of the day. Oh, Parasalto kills the Turan. Another Turan spots, no, the Aditi. No, it spots the Parasalto. Line of sight a little bit weird, but I guess it was a small little thing over there. Koenig falling back with his Hetzer. A row of 47 mils now coming in. And that is a sign that Liszek is probably starting to run out of some things. But also it could also just show that he's really worried about those Turans. But I think it's most realistically a combination of both. He's probably not out yet, but realizes that he needs to be a little bit careful with some of his things. But also he might want to, you know, have an efficient answer here to these light tanks. Since Koenig is quite aggressive over here. We do see the push down south happening. Sherman supports into this pushing in. Panzerrex are on the move, but not in the right spot. Sheridan has re-grabbed this flag, and it's 15-9 for Liszek all of a sudden. And Koenig looking quite weak. There's not all that much blue. And this is not one of those games where the allied units are cheaper. No, this is one where they're quite expensive, actually. If not more expensive. Really depends on the unit we're looking at. 75 mil. Oh, this is not actually the pack 40. This is the other one with the heat shell. Spitfire going in with his strafing run, getting forced off by the Bofus. Flying over the other one. This is actually better than a regular Bofus, by the way. Not sure if we should call it Bofus, but I think it's kind of the same gun. But for whatever reason, from what I recall, the stats are slightly better. 14-10 now. Koenig did do what? Oh, he got this flag back. I mean, if it goes in again, it's going to die. Hold on. There was another one over here. Did that die? Looks like it. By what? Artillery fire? Or... Oh, it was over there. Not sure what killed it. Oh, maybe something in here? Maybe the Aditi? Oh, from over here, they could have seen it. I think the Aditi might have killed that from up close. Really bad. And this is the problem. So, Koenig has a tendency of having his A quite close to the front line, which is very powerful and very useful, but it leaves at the risk of losing it. And while Liszek doesn't have a massive air force, his 2 Ariete can do damage. So losing all his EA is potentially very dangerous. An important thing over here is that the Marrow Bren, or whatever that was over here, did die. No, I think there was a Parada Salto. So these tanks can now operate quite safely again. 47 has arrived. The Crusaders have been pulled back to safety again. Only this one remains a little bit more... I mean, you could definitely like sit in here and be somewhat safe. I would at least have better line of sight than back here. So you have to remember, it's especially devastating with 20 mils. Whenever you have your AA on the backside of a hill, you needs to either, you need to be like back here, because it, you know, it also needs to have a line of sight on a plane. So the flatter the angle, the earlier you're actually going to see it. Now, of course, the further away you go from the hill, the further away, like the longer the plane, or the closer the plane can fly into lines before you can actually open fire on it. So you're moving actively away from the plane, which of course not good. But there is, you know, this is ultimately still the worst decision. But of course, this is more punishing with 20 mils because they have a shorter range challenge. So sitting up here might be the better call. Laredo now coming in. There's only one AA piece left on Koenig's side. And Liszek is very determined to just get this flag. Laredo might still be stopped. Yep, it will be. It is marked now, so mortars are probably going to go after it eventually. But there's only one in operation still. The pusher has stopped somewhat. Bazookas are in position but not really doing much. Basically, the leaders was holding the front line over here. Liszek at the moment not really wanting to push. Maybe he wants to wait for more CQC. Or maybe it's just happy with having the 2 flags back, really. I mean, is there a real point in pushing through potential lot of CQC over there when you can just get that 1 flag? Oh, the Crusaders again out of position. Focals get in, do the bombing run. They could easily get punished for this, but Liszek's not in the right spot with his AA. Well, also probably losing against the 47 mil. 75 mil squaring off against Fucilieri Bren, but I think the Fucilieri Bren is going to win that. Yeah, it is absolutely going to win that. Down south, recon plane is in, so Koenig brings another plane and the Chu-87, trying to kill off that Sherman, and most likely succeeding. I think this is just an error of the game. I think it actually is targeting the Sherman. The Spitfires could come out there. They should probably be back in... well, no, they got damaged here a little bit earlier, so maybe not. Maybe on the way out, we have to wait and see. This might be the end of the Sherman. It is, but Liszek has some infantry here that can hold off Koenig's pusher, in my opinion. Should be enough. Zurek got the flag back to 12-12, but Liszek now in the lead with only 10 minutes to go. Situation on the map looking a little bit better. I think Koenig has traded better now. He's traded his way back in, but is not quite there yet. And he needs to get Liszek on the take ASAP. I think that's going to be quite tricky from the position he's in, because up here he really doesn't have any angle at pushing. Liszek actually has a potential with 1 unit to just swoop in and get this flag. And the front line might actually even let him know that nothing's in here directly. Because if it's this close with nothing actually affecting it up close here, that means that nothing can be there. And if Liszek notices, it could potentially be a play that he makes, but at the moment it doesn't look like it. But down south is probably the best angle Koenig has to get 2 more flags. I think the town is quite tricky. He got these 2 back, but there's not really an option to get more. So this is probably the best he can do, and where he should reinforce now, and he is. So it is the right call for him at the moment. It's the only way he can stay in the game. It definitely needs reinforcers as well, but he can still afford losing this if he gives him these 2 flags back. Right? So this is the one that he can let go of. If he can get 2 over here, still gets a single tick, but it needs to happen very soon. If he waits any longer, it will have to be a 13-11 for him to get, you know, to stay in the game. Turan here can still do some support. So basically, Koenig, if Koenig sits back here and relaxes, which would be the right call here, I think Liszek will have a tough time pushing here, unless he brings in the Sherman. Oh, Spitfire's going for a strafing run on the Bofors. Ariete has been stopped in time. The Bofors is falling back. Spitfire's trying to go back in again. Oh, it's so stupid that he can overwhelm me like that. But it is, you know, he can't be too good. If it completely shuts down a plane, of course it would not be good for the game. But it's a very annoying thing if that happens to you. Well, did run out of ammo. Is that why the Spitfires managed to get in? Well, now the Spitfires are out of ammo. So Koenig's 1 AAP is still safe at the moment. I could actually come back to bite him in the ass, because Koenig still has an air force, so Koenig's plane can open this up again, give the 2 flags back to Koenig. That could cost... yeah, there we go. And he's bringing the recon plane as well. That could cost Liszek his win, which at the moment he would be having secured. But if Koenig gets those flags back again, not looking very good. Yeah, now those are got pushed back. Because again, they just need to be here, hold the flag. Over here, the Turans can hold this angle and just make sure that Koenig is not going to get that flag. Focke-Wulf did go for the bomber run. A flag will be... No, not flipped. A push needs to happen here. Infantry is coming in, but no tanks, so it's probably like Koenig is out of tanks. Oh, one flag flip, 30 land for Koenig. It could be... I think it's going to be enough. I think it will be enough. All he needs to do is make sure that he can keep that flag and get this one. Or keep that one and keep this one. No. Oh, there's another Nimrod. True, he has not vetted them. He has 4 of them. Surprised that we only see another one just now. But over here, the problem is going to be there's some secrecy fighting happening. And the Marrow and the Aditi are good for that, of course. Although, the Aditi is dead. Just the Marrow now. Just the 2. And there's a grenade thrower, which is not a good matchup for the Marrow. Another one Marrow down, but Fucileiro is also better at secrecy there. Oh, Spitfire gets in, going after the Ju-88. It's going to get the kill eventually. It's going to go overshoot a little bit, but if it stays on its back, it will get it eventually. No Spitfire coming, so that can definitely do that. Koenig not pushing fast enough over here. Zorecto spotted the Fucileiro. This flag should now flip. This one might flip as well. Oh, it's two Arakazak that do have, I think they do have the straight pull rifles there. They do a little bit more damage. But might not be enough, especially if Spitfire goes for straight pull, especially not against the Fucileiro. So actual infantry needs to follow up. And more airstrikes needs to happen. Turan is coming in, 30-11 for Koenig. He had a 14-10 for a brief moment, but he's lost his flag. He's lost his flag as well now. Oh, J87 gets in once again. Crusaders once again not in the right position. Gets pushed back, both of them actually. That's huge because that means that Turan can do the work. 30-11 for Liszek now, however. Koenig is the one who needs the 30-11. Ooh, that's going to be an incredibly close call. Spitfire here just continues the strafing. Jerben have been unloaded and pushing up. They might stabilize. 12-12 again. Koenig needs another flag if he wants to win. I don't know where he's going to get that though. Doesn't look like he's going to get that anytime soon. Doesn't look like he's going to get that one anytime soon. And over here, he has no potential to get another flag. He has gotten the ones he had. I think that might have been GG's for Koenig. I think Liszek will take that from me. And I mean, Koenig has been outtraded. If you look at the map, there's still less of Koenig's unit than of Liszek's unit. So I think we can without a doubt say that Liszek has the upper hand here. But Koenig has played it very well with his switching back and forth. I think from Koenig, I think even when he pushed back in here, he has been outtraded. Maybe over here, trades were still equal. Maybe. If so, still impressive. But of course, not quite the same as the point that I tried to make. But Koenig got a lot done from being behind. It just wasn't quite enough in the end. And there we go, Maro Brennan, Fucileiro Brennan retaking the south again. Heads are coming in, but at this point it's not going to achieve much anymore. Mori is being pushed back, and all of a sudden, it is always a bad sign. If you see a little bit of recon sprinkled in, that is a good sign because your opponent or the player remembers to bring in recon units to get vision or to fight, to, make sure that he doesn't burn through his infantry as fast. But if you all of a sudden start seeing recon infantry everywhere, and we've seen it here quite a bit, and I think over here is a little bit as well, that is usually a sign that that player is out of regular, or almost out of regular infantry, and is desperately trying to find other units to bring in. That is usually, again, it's usually a very bad sign. Koenig got the flags back, but he's not gotten any on the hill back, which is, I think, the main problem. 14-10 now for Liszek, actually. Oof. As Liszek takes this back, but it's already flipped again. Not a Sherman coming in down south. It's not going to matter anymore. Liszek is going to take this from here. It's really only a matter of time. And Koenig is holding on for a long time. Maro gets another kill here on the transport. Not killing the Hozarek itself, but it will kill it now, or surrender it more likely. No, he kills it. Baretta, do damage. And the Spitfires just strafing as they please. Oh, it actually still has some shells left. No, it has a little bit of ammo, but it's sitting in the forest and can't see anything, really. The Hetzer has arrived. Too late to do anything. Well, he can shoot at the Alpinius Blood Hunter, which have been bullying Koenig for quite a while. Like, this thing has been killing a lot of units over here. We've seen it throughout the past few minutes. Always shooting at things over there, killing support guns and whatnot. Quite annoying unit. Oh, he also got that flag over there, Liszek. And Koenig surrenders after 47 minutes and 19 seconds. And we can look at the trades. Yeah, Liszek is up 1,000 points, which is generally a lot. Even with balance, he shouldn't really win that anymore, being down this many points. But sometimes you do see it. However, with Maverick versus Maverick, it is very, very tough to get back because you don't have, this is going to be a much bigger fraction of your total income. So it's not to be underestimated. And we can clearly see at the start, Liszek got very good trades. Then it equaled out a little bit, but Koenig didn't really come back. It's just both sides trading. Well, now here at around, with the off map, Liszek actually got back in as well, but it didn't get back into the town and the hill. It was definitely a very dominating position over here. And I think, you look at this, so when he made the push up north, he was still in a good position. But then things kind of went south. I think part of it was the loss of some planes. I don't know where all these things are. I think that was when he tried to push the hill, and when the Sherman 1 DOW arrived up north as well. I think this is when all these losses happened to Koenig. This is where he was not trading very efficiently, and he paid the price for it. Oh yeah, it was the Nimrod killing the Sherman. There we go. And then over here, from there, it was sometimes even again, as you can see, but still Liszek kept the upper hand throughout the rest of the game, and there's definitely more patches of red than patches of blue here. So quite a nice game though. Congratulations to Liszek for making it that far and to the finals, which of course those of you who were in the stream you already knew, but I hope it was still a very, very exciting game. It was excellently played by both players. Like, both players really showed us a very, very high level of skill here, and we've seen some great plays, and it was a really interesting game too. Like, we've seen a lot of back and forth. Flags were constantly switching, so it's always amazing to see these very fluid games that are not just stuck in a front line. It's very rigid, and then people start spamming. Commandosi on the other side did a lot of good work on Liszek's side. Sherman, of course, some of the 47 mils decently as well, but just the Commandosi with the Pia once again there. They did get some nice kills, not a Sherman. The Crusaders, of course, did some anti-infantry duty at the end. More Shermans, and the Shermans are absolutely fantastic in such a matchup. Against the Iran, Shermans are really nice. Because again, they just tanked them quite well. You would think that the heat shell would eventually pen it, but it's actually going to take quite a while, especially if you factor in the low accuracy on that thing as well. And the Sherman will easily pen that Turan. Then you have to slow to the rotational speed of the Turan coming in as well, which is not going to make it any better. It fires fast when it starts firing, but it first needs to get firing, which is what matters at the end of the day. Wolverine actually getting quite some nice kills as well. And that's about it. On the other side, we have the Focke-Wulf getting some quite nice kills somehow for the Husarok. I think that was probably in the town. Getting quite a large amount or maybe down south, getting quite a large amount of kills as well. And then you have to wait a little bit off map. Actually did massive damage. Did not spin the kill. The Nimrod got the Spitfire and the Sherman. That was really fun to watch. One of the Hetzers, no surprise there, did a lot of work too. Those things are really nice. Not a Hetzer. But that's pretty much it. So yeah. That's that. So, hope you enjoyed this game. Once again, this was played for charity. This was a charity tournament. And the video of this game is also meant for that purpose, so you can go to the description down below and donate to Cause Against Hunger if you think that this was worth donating something. I hope you were entertained. Also, again, if you do want to see the rest of these games, they are on my live stream, which you can find on YouTube as well, from Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was the quarterfinals and semifinals, and Sunday was us watching the one game from the quarterfinals that I missed, and then the finals, of course. So that is all up for you there to watch and enjoy as well. And with that, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and see you all in the next one. Well, tomorrow, actually.